so they can start participating in the game and whatnot. Real estate is an investment. You buying real estate is not because I just like the house, but this is something that you can gain wealth over time. The hardest part of real estate is the hardest part of any business. Going through the process of talking to some buyers that may be not serious, or talking to sellers that's closed-minded, feel like they get more money by selling themselves. In Memphis, we got close to 5,000 agents. What makes Rico different than all 5,000 agents? So once you understand why, the what has more impact. Sales, like the phone has to be your best friend. Goals is bigger than your excuse. You'll make a move. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh my God. We tuned into another episode of ElevateSolo podcast, broadcasting live from the world. Now, I ain't gonna lie, y'all, I'm excited for this. I'm very excited. I got somebody that's very special to the right of me. But before I get into that, if you somebody looking into real estate, you want to start, you want to jump in, get a pen, get a paper, make sure y'all like just listen the whole way through the podcast. Watch it twice if you gotta watch it. You hear me? But I got my guy Rico to the right of me. What's up, man? How's it going?
What's good? Appreciate you having me, man.
Of course, bro. How's it going, bro?
It's good, man. Blessed, better than amazing, all that good stuff, man. It's rare that we find like people in the city doing this type of stuff. So like, you hit me up, I'm like, bro, we need to make that happen for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? I just love what you're doing, bro. And I really, like I said, like when I spoke a little bit before the camera, I love what you're doing. Like you motivating the youth with it as well. So talk to us, like what made you jump into real estate?
Real estate, man, like I grew up in an entrepreneur family. My mom been entrepreneurship about 15, 20 years. I don't know the exact number, but I've been around entrepreneurship about 10 years. At this point, I'm 29 now. So for me, like 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I lost my brother, my youngest bro. And around that time, I kind of went through like these, I want to say an identity crisis, but it was kind of like in a place where I just lost my inspiration. I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Right.
My motivation, my inspiration wasn't the same. I couldn't get myself going. And I really didn't figure out like what's going to be the thing that's going to start the fire. You know, like you got to get yourself going and stuff like that. My engine just would not crank at that time. So I'm like, bro, what am I going to do? And then my mom like, why don't you go get your real estate license? And crazy enough, like back, like when I was probably 8, she went to like real estate school and stuff like that. She just never passed the test. I remember her crying in the bed, like it just really like, I can't pass it. She took it 6 times, couldn't pass it. So we used to go, like window shopping in houses growing up, like figure out what houses was empty, open houses and things like that. I always like aesthetic stuff. And so I'm like, I can do something like this. So I pursued it, went to school. I'm like, I'm going to see if some type of inspiration come. I'm going to see some type of purpose happening there. But outside of that, if you ask me from a business sense, man, like I just want to be significant. I want to do something worthwhile. I want to be great at something. I feel like at that point in my life 2 years ago, I did a lot of stuff. I had a lot of success, but I haven't really like excelled to like my full potential. And
Right.
Let me do this and be a beacon for like our community, because a lot of people not represented. A lot of people don't know the game of entrepreneurship, also real estate. They scared of it and things of that nature. I'm like, let me jump in and then really be an example of what can happen in this space. So a combination of all that, I think, is why I pivoted real estate.
Right. Let me ask you this, right? There's somebody out there who looking, now you can just get into real estate. He want to be an entrepreneur, but he want to be an entrepreneur, bro. But I feel like in order for there to be a successful business, there has to be a successful mindset and person running their business. So what do you feel like is the first thing that someone should change within themselves if they want to be successful?
To be honest with you, I don't think it's like a true clear cut of what the first steps would be, if it makes sense. I think the biggest thing is you got a desired thing. All right. It's like the question, of course, you go biblical. It's like if you seek, you knock, the door will be open. If you seek, things will be found. So like you have a desire, you'll start getting, hunches, and you'll start getting intuition of what route to go. And the one thing you gotta understand, exposure leads to expansion. And so once you start getting around it, it's like this cliche that we always say growing up. It's like, you want to get close to the fire, right? So you can catch on fire at some point. So you want to, whatever the energy is, whatever the movement is going, you want to find the people that's doing what you want. So let's say, for instance, if you say, I want to start a podcast. Okay, who do I know start a podcast? If you don't know anybody, who do I know somebody that started a podcast? Who in my city have a podcast, right? So you want to start asking those type of questions and see what you can do is just get a fly off the wall and just really be around the energy, and you'll figure out what way that you want to get into it. So if it's real estate, my thing was, I heard it a lot. We talked about a lot of successful people. You start studying wealth, you start studying entrepreneurship, you hear like 80% of millionaires done it through real estate. So you hear that, okay, what part of it? So you start asking questions and you start going this rabbit hole of like information, and you'll see like it's a million ways to make $1 million. It's so many different things that you can weigh. you can tackle real estate. And once you find your way, you just commit to it and you start going to rabbit hole and figure out what ways you can be great in that area that you want to tackle as well.
Okay, I love that, bro. How could one go into, I heard you say trying to find the right question to ask, because there are certain questions that'll help you get to where you want to get to faster.
Right.
You know what I mean? How could one go about finding those right questions to ask?
The right questions, you got to figure out what's the wrong questions too. And it's limited belief questions like, I can't do X, Y, Z because, right? So it's the questions you don't want to ask is based off of lack or scarcity. Or, and I heard Oprah say something like, I was never the most resourceful. I mean, I didn't have the most resources growing up. I didn't have the wealthy parents. I didn't have the mentor and things of that nature. But what made me great was I was the most resourceful. So you got to say, okay, where am I? Right? Start where you are and then start with what you have. What do I have and where am I? And start with that and then start asking questions centered around that. And then you will ultimately find out what makes sense and stuff like that. So like I always say things too in my life, no matter how dark it gets, if I keep going, I'll find light eventually. Right. And so the same kind of mindset, but it all starts like you said, mindset. So instead of once you grow your mind, you'll figure out what questions to ask by default. You grow your mind, you change your life. Change your mind, you change your life and things of that nature. So I'll say focus on mentality. And then once you focus on mentality, you'll start attracting the right stuff in your life. You'll start meeting the right people. You'll start, so it's really God in the universe to start really putting you in positions to really know what to ask and what not to ask.
Right. Okay. So when we think of success, bro, we think of success as this beautiful thing, that everybody, of course, want to reach. But what comes with success is a lot of battles and a lot of struggles. Mm-hmm. So what I want to ask you, what are some of the difficult parts that's not even you had to face?
Difficult parts of success. You finished the question?
Yeah, I was done. Pretty much.
Man, like it's sheesh. Difficult parts of success. It's a lot of difficulties that come with success, but I think it goes back to mentality. It's one of those things, man. Like for me personally, I struggle with introversion. I'm just going to give you some examples of what I struggle with, how I had to overcome it. So introversion meaning, being a loner and in success, like it's a people's business. Money has a lot to do with influence. So it's a people business. So loner and success don't really match and merge. So overcoming those limited beliefs, so what you're telling, your negative voice you have in your head, your head. So really it was just always me versus me. You can form the skill, but having the information and not applying it don't really, it's not going to do any justice. So knowing what to do and also having the boldness and the courage to act on that. So what is that internal dialogue that you have every single day that's going to really dictate if I'm on discipline or I'm going to be somebody's going back to the things that make me comfortable. So it's really my mindset, bro. Like that's the hardest thing. Also learning people. Like you're in the people business, man. People, you got to have patience. You got to know emotional intelligence. It's a lot that comes with it, but I wouldn't change it I wouldn't have it any other way because learning those things, overcoming those things really grew me as a person. So now I'm a better son, I'm a better friend as a result of having to force myself to grow my limited belief I had, from the get-go.
Right. Do you read books?
I mean, yeah, that was the start, to be honest with you. Yeah.
I say, what's some of those books you feel like you read that really just made you think different?
Yeah, my life changed, man, at 16. My mom, colleague gave me, what did she give me? Think it was I believe it was Rich Dad Poor Dad. If I'm not mistaken, the first book.
Right.
So she gave me that book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and it opened my eyes because that was a book that taught you about the cash flow, right? It helped you understand money. And at that point, like I never knew nobody was making six figures. My mom wasn't making six figures at the time. I'm pretty sure in our household, maybe my pops plus her had a 6-figure income, but I didn't know anybody making 6-figure months, $1 million months, that I meet people now. So that book kind of opened my eyes of, how can I reach my goal of freedom and stuff like that. So from there, Rich Dad Poor Dad's a good one to start off with because it gives you a basic foundation of wealth. Right. From a spiritual and mental level, outside of just understanding money and business, man, things like The Mastery of Love by Pablo, what's his name, man? He wrote the 4 Agreements as well. Mastery of Love, The Mastery of Self, are 2 things that really helped me really understand how to love myself and how to love people and things of that nature. So that, leadership, anything John C. Maxwell, I could go on a rabbit hole, man. It's so much. It's a lot. It's a lot.
It's a lot. So look, I think you said, I don't know if you answered this question already, but how did you get over just the introversion and just being to yourself and being alone?
Man, when your goals is bigger than your excuse, you'll make a move.
Oh
you know what I'm saying? Like,
oh my God. Yo, pass me that cigarette. Nah, I'm just playing. Y'all look, this fake. It's prop. But look, y'all, I know y'all love this episode, but look, ElevateSolo, we had just dropped 3 new teas. Boom, boom. Y'all see that? Boom. And look, right now we're doing a bundle deal. 3 teas for only $30. I don't know where else you can get 3 teas for $30. Nowhere else but ElevateSolo.com. And look, y'all, look. And if you use code podcast, you get a secret discount. Make sure y'all head over to ElevateSolo.com. Grab you 3 teas for $30. And let's get back into the episode.
I had no choice, bro. Like,
say that one more time.
When your goals become bigger than your excuse, you move. Right. And that, like, I had to. Because I got, at some point, like, dissatisfaction is a creative state. And, you know, I heard somebody say, if your back is not against the wall, you gotta put the wall against your back at some point. So not everybody in a position where they just down bad. And so, like, I just got tired of, you know, falling short. And I'm like, I gotta change. And it's just like, I wasn't satisfied with being afraid of speaking to somebody, being afraid to pitch an idea and things of the nature. Like, in sales, like the phone has to be your best friend. I still struggle to this day, you know, to reach out and don't want to be a bothersome and stuff like that. So absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely one of those things.
Of course. So look, let's go back 10 years from that. Say okay. 29, right? 29. So 19 years old, bro. You can give yourself some advice. This is gonna better help you get to your goals in the future. They're gonna overcome all those battles that you were facing. Talk to yourself, bro.
At 19, that's crazy.
19.
Man, I only feel this old. That's crazy. That was 10 years ago.
Time just
19.
Flies, bro.
At 19, I think I was a freshman in college. I just went to UTK. First time I moved away from Memphis. 6-hour trip by myself. The first time on campus was the first day on campus. And I would tell myself to fight a little harder to stay in school than I did. Fight a little harder and push yourself to be more involved in what you did.
All right.
I wouldn't change much, but I would definitely say fight more harder for the opportunities that I was blessed with at the time. Because I was blessed with a lot of opportunities I couldn't fight for.
All right.
I just let it fall apart.
So seeking opportunities and taking those opportunities.
Yeah, just really fighting for the opportunities.
Right.
To make the opportunity happen. Yeah.
Okay, so what I want to ask you, bro, like, what does like success look like to you? Like, I don't know, like, just how does it look? Like, when you picture success, what is it like for you?
Right now, man, success made to me is gonna be based around how I manage my money. And when I say manage money, it's not necessarily about like how can I, like, out of fear, but it's more so like when you think about a lot of successful people, their money's tied into assets. So having a clear-cut plan in place that my money is being invested properly, whether it be in life insurance, whether it be in properties, whether it be into my future and set myself up for the long haul. Just having a plan to have my money work for me in all angles. Right. And it's just I could go deeper into that, but essentially my success is really going to be based off of how my money's working for me. My understanding of how to make money work for me and not having fear around it. But it's literally going into places that is now working for me, and it's building and growing when it comes to my assets, when it comes to the properties I own and things of that nature. So that's what it looks like for me right now. And that's tied into freedom as well. But yeah.
Right. What is your favorite part about what you do?
My favorite part about what I do in real estate, as an agent, you work with both buyers and sellers. Right. From a buyer standpoint, it's taking somebody who, it's a whole process, you know, having a consultation with them. Here they goes, you know, they talking about, you know, I don't know if I can get a house, you know, like you definitely can, in a sense. So from the first conversation, them telling you what they want, and then walking into a house, you know, as an agent, when you found the one. Right. The moment they get out the car, they see it, you just know, like, it's a house. So that moment of watching it, it's the excitement, because you know when it's not the house as well. Like, you go in and like, we gonna take a tour just to make sure we do the process, but you know when it's the one that they actually gonna purchase or put an offer on, and then the closing table, you know, handing them the keys, exchanging the gifts. I like to pop champagne and stuff like that just to celebrate. That I love that process of just really help people get something they always wanted. And the house is one of the biggest things, especially our community. Not a lot of people actually bought a house. No matter what age, there's still a significant win, for people that's buying a house. So the selling side is again, it's all relationships, man. Like clients become family members. Clients really become family members. You got people that you're going to be connected to for life. I think this is my favorite part about real estate.
Now, when you say clients, you mean people who's actually purchasing?
Yeah, anybody that you're working with. Yeah, anybody that you're working with along the process. Even people that don't purchase, but they just had a conversation. We talked about what the idea would be like to actually purchase a property.
Okay. Yeah. So now we've got the favorite part out the way. Let's talk about the hardest part, bro. Like, let's talk about it, because it's not always gonna be all glitter and gold.
You talking about real estate?
Yeah, real estate.
The hardest part of real estate is, and I'm still as considered a new agent.
Right.
So man, I'm still in the hardest part. Okay. And that's the hardest part of real estate. Is the hardest part of any business or any idea that you might have is getting it out the mud. You can't walk out the mud; you got to explode out the mud. Right. So it takes a lot of energy to really get things going, and you have the vision before everybody else has the vision. And what does it look like to show up every single day when I mentioned earlier, when it's dark, quote unquote, but your mind has to be light, right? You got to operate out of the light, not the darkness. And so like the hardest part is building the business and talking to closed-minded people, going through the process of talking to some buyers that may be not serious, right? Just giving you the runaround or not committed to the process, or talking to sellers that's closed-minded, feel like they get more money by selling themselves. And don't want to hear, all the possibilities to help them sell their property and the event that it allows them to get their bottom line taken care of, which is walk away from the close, say, table with the most amount of money possible. So that process of accumulating business and making a name for yourself. In Memphis, we got close to 5,000 agents. Why should you buy from Rico? What makes Rico different than all 5,000 agents? So just that aspect of it, and the answer is consistency and discipline. It's what's going to separate you from the masses.
Right.
And so, I think the hardest part is getting it out the mud for sure.
Are there any real estate courses that one could go to look up for?
It's twofold real estate. You can be a realtor, and if you want to be an investor. Right. So somebody just want to play the game of real estate, acquiring property. We live in an information age. It's nothing that question-wise that you can't find the answer to. If you don't like reading books, okay, great. You can go to YouTube. You go down a whole rabbit hole and you can find information that can help you start a podcast, start a drop shipping store, learn how to, to be anything that you, lash tech, whatever, nail tech, whatever the case may be, you can find information on YouTube or anything to that nature. So yes, a lot of people is teaching you how to be successful in anything that you want to be successful in this world today. Well, this is one of the greatest things about living right now.
Right. Look, bro, I got about 7 quotes from you yourself, bro, that stuck out to me, but I also want you to just elaborate a little bit on those for us. Sure. Just talk to them for a minute. The first one that stuck out was, what's the why behind your what?
The why behind my what?
Yeah.
You got it. I'm a why behind the what type of thinker.
Right.
So no matter what I do, for it to make sense or for it to, really stick with me, to move me and to change, I have to understand the why. The root. It's like in order to change your fruits, you got to first look at the roots. So you change the roots, the fruits also is changed. It's kind of like our city. We talk about the crime and everything like that. Everybody look at what's on the surface, but you got to dig deeper. What's the root of the cause? It's causing everything that we don't like to eat, which is the fruit. And so the why behind the what. Once you understand why, the what has more impact essentially. And so you always start with why. And then that makes sense. And you think about Apple, for an example, we don't support Apple because it's Apple. We support Apple because of what it stands for. All right. It's a user-friendly type of whole entire experience. It's an experience that comes with Apple that we connect to more so than anything. So whatever you're doing, it starts with the why. So when you sit down with me, why am I doing this? I'm doing this, number one, because I want throughout the real estate process, people to come in and they understand exactly what's going on in the transaction so they can be empowered, so they can start participating in the game of Monopoly. And so real estate is an investment. It's we look at it like when I buy a car, I'm buying a car just because I like the car. When you buy real estate, it's not because I just like the house, but this is something that you could gain wealth over time. And it's just talking about that and how I could use this as a tool, not just an expense, but it's an investment to empower you and your family for years to come. Right. So my mom bought her first house at 20 something. And she sold it a few years later, but she would have kept the house is worth 2-3 times more now than it was when she first bought it. I can imagine having a house in our family tree, being my early 20s and having a house called mine instead of paying rent and stuff like that. So it changes stuff, having information. So, but I'm saying all that to say it goes back to why. if people understand why, they'll support the what.
Of course. Next time I heard a lot too is how important that why is. But just when you just said that, it made me think of the other quote that you said, which was one man's loss is another man's treasure. Talk to us about that.
One man's loss is another man's treasure.
But you can look at that. One could look at that and use that with anything.
Yeah, that's a deep one. I mean, just that can go back to like taking advantage of opportunity,
right,
and just being ready for and just staying. For me personally, like it's only a loss if I didn't learn. It's only a loss if I don't have the proper perspective. I was talking to somebody like in I've been one of my friends. She also an entrepreneur, and it's crazy because sometimes you get burnt out, right? And I heard something that's like the only time you get burnt out doing something that you love is once you forget why you're doing it, right? And so that's now a loss because you lost perspective. And so, like we talk about one man's loss is another man's treasure. The moment that you take advantage of assets, you will at some point no longer be granted access. So you gotta be careful of what you have access to. It's like a privilege. I get to do this. I get to talk to you. So it's not like I gotta do it, but I get to. So it's like a perspective of gratitude. And so the moment I start taking things for granted,
right,
that access would no longer be granted to me at some point. It's like your business. If you don't run your business, at some point your business will run you. Right? If you don't show up every day, at some point somebody gonna hire you to show up for them. It's like whatever you take for granted, you lose, and somebody's gonna take it serious, and they'll be rewarded access to it.
Right. I heard a quote earlier the other day. It was like, if you don't take a risk, you know what I'm saying? If you're afraid to take a risk, if you're scared to take a risk, if you don't, you will be working for someone who did for the rest of your life. Who did take the risk. But before I get back to the quotes, bro, I do want to ask you, like, what did you learn to speak from? Or like, what did you learn to speak, bro? Cause you don't just wake up overnight and just start speaking like that, bro.
I feel like I said this a lot, but I say it for the sake of the conversation, man. I actually grew up stuttering, right? Resource student. I was a slow learner, still kind of hard headed and slow learner too. When I get it. And so early on, like I had that process. I was in the remedial classes and things like that, all grade and stuff like that. But I met a guy in sixth grade resource class, and he's actually doing great right now. He worked for the government in Texas, high six figures plus and things like that in his field, but also came from the same spot. And before we went to high school, he's like, bro, we got opportunity to have a clean slate. We got opportunity to get it right. We got opportunity to redefine how we want to be known. 8th grade, we talk about this. He said, like, go in high school this year, like, really commit to it and let's never look back. And so from that point, like, I started becoming, like, conscious of, like, how I want to live and why I want to live. Then also my freshman year in high school, I lost my oldest brother. So my oldest brother passed, and that's when I started taking life like really serious, and I started like really diving into like personal development. I really started diving into like my word and really get to know God and stuff like that. So from that point, it just led me to on this personal development journey. But to answer your question directly, like I fell in love with like ESPN, fall in love with ESPN was the same time that First Take and Skip Bayless and Stephen A came on.
Right.
And I connected with Stephen. He lost his oldest brother to a car accident. I lost my oldest brother to a car accident. He also got held back because he used to stutter. He couldn't read or whatever the case may be. I also can't read. He got made fun of because I couldn't. He said one thing he did with every time he read something, he didn't know the word. He studied the language, the origin. He studied everything. To this day, I got in my notes, I got something to define this dictionary and definitions. So I used to do the same thing. A word I didn't know, study it, look up the language's origins and stuff like that, and really just try to develop my vocab. But to answer your question in a small sense, I couldn't speak not because the gift wasn't there. I couldn't speak because I didn't have confidence. I didn't have confidence because I have knowledge. The moment I started reading, I really found I had a lot to say, but I didn't just know how to say it because I wasn't developed. The more developed I had, it's like you could tell what somebody's consuming based off what they say. So I know exactly what you're reading based off of what's coming out your mouth. Like, okay, this guy is really tapped in. This guy, like, you know when somebody locked in on a goal because you can't stop talking about your goal. I'm sure we had a conversation off mic. At some point, whatever you want to do, in about 5 minutes, it comes out. So what's in your heart comes out naturally, you know? So it's like, I didn't have anything in my heart because I was like, wasn't really consuming myself with things. So the moment I plug into real good fruit, when I started speaking, it just came out naturally.
Wow.
But yeah.
Wow. That's different, bro. When you said another quote that you said, bro, was that success is reached by what you're willing to give up.
What are you willing to give up to go what? Man, I gave up a lot, man. 29 now, so I've been pursuing freedom since I was like 18. So I gave up, I sacrificed a lot. I sacrificed relationships. I sacrificed, man, just the normal early 20s stuff, partying. I sacrificed a lot, like a lot. You know, I can't really just dig deep, but yeah, I sacrificed a lot. But for me, it wasn't really like it didn't feel like a sacrifice because I really didn't feel like I was missing out on nothing. So it's like I wanted to do this. I find joy in being in the moment. I find joy in creating. I find joy being in the flow. Like I'm unbalanced when I'm not in purpose. When I'm in purpose, I'm the most joyous person ever. Right? I thrive in purpose. So it really didn't feel like sacrifice, but I compare it to the field, then it was a sacrifice because of what everybody else was committed to at the time.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah, so I'm ready to give up a lot. Like time, my family, I'm ready to give up. To get the goal? Oh yeah. Like whatever I gotta give up, I'm gonna give it up.
Okay. You ain't doing nothing wrong, bro. You also said that real estate is a lonely journey. Why is that?
Real estate is a lonely journey. You are really pursuit of any pursuit is a lonely journey. It's a lonely journey because not everybody understands your commitment level. Not everybody understands the sacrifice. And also, like, when I say real estate lonely journey, because it's you versus you. I golf, and golf is you versus you. And so, it's just having how I want to phrase it, is having the comfort of operating from, not operating to get to. What I mean by that is like, I talked about, earlier, it's like, when you first start something, I say, get out the mud, it's dark, right? Quote unquote, it's dark. So you don't see the prize, you don't see the fruits, you don't see the money, it's not there. So what's going to get me up every single day? What's going to keep me enthusiastic? You know, the success is going from failure to fail without losing enthusiasm. So what's going to keep me enthusiastic when I'm failing, when people telling me no? And so this operates from the light, this operates from the promise and stuff like that. So when I say it's lonely, because when you in your worldly, what your eyes see is like failure, it's like setback, it's like I'm not good at this. But what you got to see in your mind is like, this has purpose, right? You have to be locked in, and you got to look past what's around you and see where you're trying to go. And that's why I say it's lonely, because it's so easy to get caught up in what quote unquote is reality. Right. So you got to be delusional a little bit to have success. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the hard part, I think, when it comes to it.
All right. And this last one I got, bro, it's kind of pretty self-explanatory, but I still want you to elaborate a little bit on it, is information changes situations.
Oh, yeah. Where you get these from?
Because I heard
that's hilarious.
Come on now, come on.
Oh my goodness. That wasn't even my quote. That was one of my guys' quote. Information changes situation. I think, if you just really listen to this interview, you will see, right? Mm-hmm. Man, information changes everything. Exposure leads to expansion, as I mentioned. Once you see something, once your mind is expanded, it never can conform back to original self. And so, like, man, just knowing it's possible. Like, we from Memphis. Like, it's if you from like Memphis, you like, you don't have a lot of examples. All right, there's not a lot of people that's winning. But once you expose to people that's winning, you're like, wait, it's possible. So like, information changes situation, because now you're exposed to what's possible. You're exposed to like your current situation. You don't have to be a duplicate of that. You don't have to really live in that forever. Like, you can really change whatever situation we're in. I don't care the brutest thing. Like, you can really change your situation with information belief. You can really get out of any situation. Yeah.
I was just speaking with another entrepreneur, bro, a couple of weeks ago. He told me that success is a spiritual journey, right? So my question to you, bro, is how important is it for you, for entrepreneur, someone who wants to gain success, to have a relationship with God?
It's essential. And we could have a whole podcast on this subject.
All right.
Success is 90%, more than probably 99% spiritual, and probably 1% physical. And somebody listening for the first time, like, how is it possible? Right. How is it 1% physical when all we really are conscious of is our physical? So it starts with, like, we talk about, one of the things my mentor taught me is like this TEAR formula. It's TEAR. everything starts with thinking. This podcast, this monitor, this mic start with somebody's mind. Like somebody literally thought about this filter over the mic to prevent the wind to hitting the mic to distort the sound that's coming into the people that's listening. So they thought about it and it came into the physical reality. So your thinking controls your emotions, right? Your emotions leads to your actions leads to your results. And so all of that, what I'm saying right there is physical. So now the person might ask me, okay, Rico, how do I change my thinking? I just can't stop thinking negative. My reality it's just so much going on that I'm just consumed with negativity. How can I change it? Well, I got to be conscious of where my thinking come from. My thinking come from my five senses. What am I seeing? What am I hearing? What am I tasting? What am I touching? Right. So all those things is going to be directly connected to what I'm actually saying, what I'm hearing, what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, and all that good stuff. So I got to be intentional about what I'm saying. So I got to get the corny stuff in my picture. So what do I want? If I want to live 5 properties, let me start getting the properties I want around my environment. Right. So let me write some things down. In my wallet, I got my gold card. I'm so happy and grateful now that X, Y, and Z is going to happen this upcoming year. I'm so happy and grateful now that I sell a house a week. I'm so happy and grateful now that, right. So I'm speaking, into my life because everything is words. God says it's let there be light. God is the word. God, you know what I'm saying? So it talks about all the things. And so when you understand the spiritual connection, you understand how to recreate into your own personal life. So everything is, it's not really like the cliche what manifestation is. It's really like living in oneness with God, right? If I live in oneness with God and I understand how he created and how he created me, how he loved me, I understand how to love myself. I understand how to love people and I understand how to recreate in my own life. It's through my words. It's through how I'm feeling. Gratitude and love is the most and powerful emotions that we can ever really think about. Love and gratitude. So I want to work my hardest to stay in love and stay in gratitude off of anything, because now what God's going to do and the universe is going to do is going to start sending me more things to love, more things to be grateful for. So I'm thankful. Thank you for that negative conversation because it worked for me. Another affirmation I'm using now is my name Rico McKinney and only good things happen for me. Right. Only good things happen to me. So I expect interviews, I expect connections and stuff like that. So that's all about my spiritual understanding. So when you have that type of mindset, the work becomes, bearable. Right. I look forward to picking up the phone. I look forward to having a conversation. I look forward because now I know what I'm operating from, victory. Right. If I want to go too spiritual, Jesus already paid the sacrifice. Whatever negativity that comes into my life has already been defeated long before I became. The only way I lose is if I get off my pedestal and I start forgetting that I already won. Right. And this is mindset, bro. And this all comes with conspiracy. And so my physical is easy because I'm already created in my mind.
There's somebody out there who's looking into getting closer with God, right?
Yeah.
Who's looking to find their faith, find their purpose, but they're hesitant to do so. What advice would you give them to just give it all to him?
Man, I'm pausing because like that question is established as such responsibility. I would say to the person that's listening, man, like give God a shot, like truly give him a chance, like not what the public perception is, not what your perception of religion, like truly get to know who he is and his plan for your life, and how he loves you. Like, I think, I think if you truly give him a chance and really seek him and truly, really figure out how to, that relationship with him, I think that's going to open up a lot of doors and understanding for you, going forward. I don't want to do all the cliche stuff, but I truly like, it's a beautiful experience, man. And it makes life makes more sense, to deal with and to prosper through. It's through a true relationship with him.
What do you think? I don't keep making you think too hard.
That's cool.
What do you think? What do you think right now is like your biggest setback? Like everybody has something. I feel like, yo, pass me that cigarette. Nah, I just playing. Look, this fake. It's prop. But look, y'all. I know y'all love this episode, but look, ElevateSolo, we had just dropped 3 new teas. Boom, boom. Y'all see that? Boom. And look, right now we're doing a bundle deal. 3 teas for only $30. I don't know where else you can get 3 teas for $30. Nowhere else but ElevateSolo.com. And look, y'all, look. And if you use code podcast, you get a secret discount. Make sure y'all head over to ElevateSolo.com. Grab you 3 teas for $30. And let's get back into the episode. I'm back. For me, I said it'd be procrastination. Alright? what would be some of those things that you think is holding you back from reaching your goal?
Man. What's holding back me? What's biggest things holding me back is a form of procrastination as well.
Right.
It would be discipline, man. Discipline. I'll just say that in routine. Real estate is forcing me, for 10 years, I had the luxury of being a night owl. I had the luxury of building the business during the day and nights. Real estate is it's a morning type of thing. You gotta wake up before the masses. You gotta get your day started. You gotta get your mindset, and you gotta get, you know, on the phone with sellers and buyers, from 8 to 12. And so, and it's a beautiful thing. It's not like a taxing, but that's it. Like, you do that, like, the rest of your day and the rest of your week is set. But, yeah, my discipline, bro, is really having my routine and my schedule in place and be in purpose. That leads back to my discipline, bro. So if I get that in check, like, yeah, you'll see me everywhere.
Right. Okay, we talked about this a little bit off the camera, bro, but do you feel as if failure is always a negative thing? Or could it be looked at as also a positive?
It's failure is positive. Okay. I think failure is encouragement. It dates back to like your mindset as well. Failure, like, people don't understand, bro. Like, failure is not opposite of success. It's not failure that way and success that way. Like, that doesn't exist. And I think that's sometimes how we operate is we try to avoid failure and go towards the route of we think success. No, you gotta understand that on the road of success, failure is also a part of that. You get to success by going through failure. I remember my mentor told me, he's like, bro, I'm where I am because I failed more than you. That was like a slap in my face at the time. He's like, bro, I just failed more. I failed more than everybody else. That's why I'm more successful. I made more money than everybody because I got more no's than everybody. And so, you got to embrace failure because you talk about, my speaking and the perspective I have right now. I've seen a lot. I've been through a lot of experiences so I can relate through the experiences, but those experiences will be quote unquote failure, but there was empowerment because I learned through those and I can be able to sympathize with somebody that's actually going through a similar situation. I got perspective, and the biggest word I want to say is I got grace, because of the stuff I've been through. And I'm able to extend grace to other people because I understand what it feels like to be in that position and have those conversations we talked about, but also how I got myself out of those situations. So embrace failure and don't compare like where you are to what somebody else is because you never knew what they went through as well to get to where you are as well. So it's really perspective, to be honest with you.
Every time you talk, I be trying to think, bro. I'm trying to take everything in, bro, but I'm learning. But I do want to ask you, bro, do you think that having a mentor, cause you did mention you have a mentor, do you think that is very necessary for anybody?
So I'm gonna put it like this. People say that there's no shortcuts to success, right?
Right.
That's a lie. The only shortcuts to success is a mentor. The mentor bridges the gap from where you are to where you want to be. All right. So mentorship is everything. Right. And you can get virtual mentors if you don't have anything personal, but mentorship, man. And I'm still desiring a true, like a real deep connection with a mentor. I think before I leave, I think I'm gonna have that type of relationship. I've been privileged to have a lot of people that made real imprints in my life, but I still, Karate Kid and his mentor type relationship. I want that type of mentorship. I haven't had that as of yet, but mentorship is everything for sure.
Right. Do you look up to any other like realtors or?
Of course.
Give us your top 5.
Top 5 in Memphis and then just in the world?
The world, bro. I mean, no, hold on. I want to look to the city first. Okay. Top 3 in the city.
All right. So let me mention my first broker, Krista Harris. Okay. Man, she's great. She's really great. And she's a go-getter. She's great. She's somebody that's doing great numbers. The reason why I mentioned Krista because she has a lot of experience when it comes to like life. As a black woman in the city, and she overcame a lot of struggle and stuff like that. And now she's successful as a broker. She's successful as an investor. She's successful as an agent. And, I admire how she does her business as well. So yeah, shout out to Crystal. James Harvey as a black guy, young guy in the city. In the luxury market. You don't see that a lot, selling multi-million-dollar homes in Memphis as a young black African-American in the city. He's doing great. Travis Patterson, shout out to him, as a leader. He helped a lot of other agents that come from our community win. His brokerage doing close to hundreds of millions a year. So just from leadership, that takes great leadership to be able to produce those type of numbers. So Travis is doing great. He created a name and also a culture that's doing a lot of things for people in the city as well. So I say those three off the top, but it's a lot more. I feel like to mention.
And then let's just go like world.
Ron Serhan. He's New York, all those multi-$50 million condos and penthouses. Like Ron Serhan is I really look up to Ron Serhan. I'm still new to real estate, so I don't have a lot of agents, but in Atlanta, I always mess her name up. I'm trying not to mess her. It's Quanta. I think it's Quanta Watson. It's something like that. I can't remember. Kiana Watson. That's her name. Kiana Watson. From Atlanta. Another person of the culture. Right. A woman doing major stuff, man. Like she's selling a lot of stuff in the Atlanta market for a lot of entrepreneurs. She's doing great. Who else come to mind? It's a lot of people, man. I'm feeling mentioned, but I'd say those two right off the bat.
Right. Okay. So as of right now, bro, today, all right. I don't know if you missed this, but what's your main focus like as of right now? What's your main focus right now, bro?
Eliminating debt, increase income. Mm. And I'm not saying like eliminate debt because as I build wealth, you gotta embrace debt. All right. But embrace it because money is a currency, and when you hear current, it's always supposed to flow.
I heard debt right? Is not a bad thing.
No, it's not. It's only a bad thing if you mismanage. Right. Anything that you mismanage becomes a burden. Right? You mismanage your purpose. You mismanage your business. It becomes a burden. So, debt could be empowering if you leverage it the right way. So I'm not have a negative mindset, but right now, as I build, my cash flow vehicle, real estate, I want to minimize my debt for some things that's not assets driven. So I want to, save a lot so I can use that money to get buying power to start investing into stuff. So when you see me, I'm going to have more of a conversation about projects I'm working on. Right. Different units that we have available, different flips and fixes or flips that we're working on, different business that I invested into and stuff like that. So you got to have a great relationship with money in order to start doing those things in ministries. We had to make, and I want to get into media. That's my real, dream. My first dream was media. I went to school for sports journalism. And so everything I'm doing right now is pivoted to media. So I want my own production company and stuff like that. But I don't want to go into media, bro. So because most of you jump in, they worry about the money right at the beginning. But so like my focus right now is to generate a vehicle that's producing me a solid income, use that income to invest into projects that give me residual passive income. My name is Mr. Residual, so I gotta live up to that.
Where that come?
That's a good question. I'm glad you asked that. 16 years old, the same woman that gave me the book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Right. And my mom was a part of this networking company that, she built organizations, things like that. And her mentor at the time used to always say things about residual income. Residual this, residual that, residual this, residual that. I used to eavesdrop. I was this curious kid on the conversations. She's like, all these people at her house. I'm like, what y'all doing? What y'all talking about? She's like, go in the room, but I peek out the room and look in, try to listen in, and I always used to catch the residual part. So I researched like residual, and it again the wormhole of all this residual information. I'm like, dang, this is crazy. You mean to tell me you can make money for something you did one time? Over and over and over and over again. So I started falling in love with that word, and they called me up one day. I don't know why they called me up. They just gave me an opportunity to speak and say something. They just asked me a question like, I guess from a kid's perspective, and see your mom in the field. And I brought up residual income. And they were just shocked that I said residual. And so they started calling me Mr. Residual at the time. And I just ran with it. But I got to live up to the name for sure to get passive residual income for sure.
Right, of course. So what's the day in the life look like?
The day in the life is...
Day in the life.
Right now, man, is I want to be in office by 8 o'clock. Wake up around 5. And get my goals out and do my morning routine as far as like spirituality stuff. Write your goals down. Feeding your mind with positive stuff, whether it be like audios, books. Getting the word every day, and then being in the office by 8 o'clock, and then looking to connect with as many people that's looking to buy or sell. From 9 to at least 11, and during the afternoon is working with buyer and seller clients to help them, acquire property and sell property. And outside of that I would like to get to a place where I'm now in my free time really building my mind to pick up other skills that's going to support the vision that I mentioned before. So that's the daily life. Monday through Fridays.
So was you just chill on the weekend?
I mean, whatever it comes, but I mean, they don't really chill in real estate because showings on the weekends, you got open houses on the weekends. So it's always something going on in real estate. I'm always doing something, but my weekends, are more flexible, if that makes sense. My non-negotiable is Monday through Friday, so I don't really bring it up. We always have something on the weekends as well.
So wait, what is your love for wanting to help people come from? I heard you mention that a lot, that you always wanted to help people. What is that?
I find fulfillment, man, in giving. Like I'm the middle kid. I had an older brother and I have a younger brother.
All right.
And I got an older sister as well. So like my youngest brother was my like first mentee. Like he didn't even ask to be a mentee, but he was my mentee.
Right.
So so I was a giver, man. I love teaching him how to tie his shoes, taught him how to ride a bike, taught him how to swim, taught him how to clean up. And so like I just found joy in the process of helping become and stuff like that, man. Even giving, like I'm not just got a heart, I just want to help people win and give them, bless them with the experiences that I've been blessed to have and recreate those experiences and stuff like that. So it's a combination of that. And my mom, man, she's a giver. Like my mom, yeah. She's a giver for sure. And she's successful because of that, because she supports everybody. She gives to everybody. And she finds joy in the process of giving. I think it comes from my mom for sure.
Mm-hmm. And I did, bro, you said y'all used to go look at houses.
Mm-hmm. Broke. And they got no money.
Didn't even have the money.
Nah.
Just manifestation.
I just love it. And then we didn't know, we didn't know what we was doing at the time, but it was just by accident, I guess, or intentional. And it's just something I just loved it. And even to this day, I like driving. If I'm going to a new city, I like looking at the skyline. I like going through the wealthy neighborhoods. I like dealerships and touching the cars, sitting in the cars, and you gotta stroke those senses. You know what I'm talking about? My mom did that, even though like she was struggling, but she never let us sit in the struggle. She always set our vision, our attention. Like the lights was off. At one point, she like, someday, one day, I'm gonna have $1 million house. Someday, one day, I'm gonna have a Bentley. Someday, one day, like she started just selling us the vision. And we'll drive around. We'll go into a successful $1 million neighborhood. And like, oh, look at the house. And so we always dream build, and it's something I do to this day.
Usually, cause I actually heard, it was like a month or two ago, I heard that when it comes to real estate, like a lot of money is in the hood. Is that true?
Money everywhere. But you can drive, like, even like now Memphis is in what I want to call it, a development process. So you see a lot of new construction going around. You go through downtown. You ain't been to downtown too easy. You go downtown and like, okay, I didn't know that was there. You see some type of new construction breaking ground every time you go down there. And the last 15 years, you've seen it with Nashville. If you frequent Nashville a lot, every time you go to Nashville, something changed. And so that's happening in Memphis right now. So you go through our hoods, you're going to see a lot of new construction houses. You're going to see a lot of houses that stand out because they've been refurbished and they have rehabs and things of that nature. So yes, a lot of money there because it's a lot of opportunity to get an inexpensive house, put some money into it. Now it's worth 3 times as much. You can sell it and keep it, whatever the case may be. So there's a lot of opportunity to really provide, resources. And if you do it in the wealthy, if you get the right spot, you can make a lot of money by doing it as well. Some people are scared of that, or like gentrification and stuff like that. But if it's us buying back the properties and owning the properties, it's actually empowered. So more people need to play the game. That's why I asked you earlier, did you play Monopoly?
Right.
Everybody need to play Monopoly and learn how to play Monopoly so you can learn how to benefit from Monopoly in our life. Because whether you like it or not, life is Monopoly. And if you're not participating in it, you've been taken advantage of by the people that are participating in Monopoly. Because you paying somebody that has owning something.
For real.
Yeah.
Right. So look, before we get up out of here, bro, I can't let you escape, bro. I gotta go back to that question. Bro. You can still think about it.
If you can, I'm gonna try to answer.
You can ask God one question and get an immediate answer. What question would you ask?
I'm hesitating because you don't want to waste that question.
I know.
Right? What do I ask God, man? That He haven't already gave us in a good book. Oh man, what would I ask?
This is a super crazy question. Like we really think about
it. And so I don't even know. I don't know, man. I think just being in the presence will be enough for me.
Right.
I don't know what I ask Him. Maybe it has something to do with my purpose, or it probably has something to do with present, like where
Do you mind?
Go, yeah, tell me yours, because I'm struggling, man.
Okay, my answer was literally what's my purpose.
Okay.
I feel like, for me, I feel like everybody's placed on this earth to find their purpose, right? And once you find that purpose, that's when I feel like God is like, okay, you served your purpose, it's time to come home. That's what I've been thinking for the longest. So that's why that would be my question. And everybody's question is different. So, but yeah,
I'll probably ask him, reveal to me, where I'm actually investing my energy into things that's not serving the purpose that you gave me. Reveal to me the ways that I'm actively or have put my attention on things that really don't serve the purpose that you gave me. Make me aware of those things. And that way I can, and then also make me aware of the things that I need to focus on that's going to strengthen the purpose you gave me. I think it has something to do with that.
Okay. That's hard. I don't think there's no better way you could have ended that, bro. I want to thank you again, bro, Mr. Rico. My bad, Mr. Residual, for coming on the podcast, bro. Is there anywhere where you want the people to go reach you?
Mr. Residual on Instagram, Rico McKinney on all other platforms. Yeah, man, let's talk. You know, you got everybody looking to buy or sell. We're looking to help, some people this year. With real estate needs, any real estate questions, a lot of things in real estate people understand, no big or small portion, reach out to me. I love to educate people about the process or anything that you might have curiosity about when it comes to this space. Let's talk, let's connect and let's network.
Of course. And again, I want to thank y'all again for tuning into this episode, man. I love y'all so much. Make sure y'all stay prayed up, keep grinding, keep hustling. It's aka Solo. You tune in to another episode of ElevateSolo podcast. And I'm catch y'all in the next.